All right, and we're live. Hello there, people of YouTube, men and women of culture. And this is the best chat on YouTube. A good friend and mentor of mine, Wes Moody from the West Moody webcast, always says that. And it pertains to every chat you happen to go to. So raise that flag high. My name is Bruce, and tonight I will be reading to you a few pages of a story I published many years ago. And if you are following me, if you hang out in the circles I hang out, you probably heard earlier today we were discussing storycraft and publishing at Machiny90's live stream he did during his creative stream. And one of the things that I really dropped the ball on when I wrote and published my novels was I self-edited. And when you self-edit, when you go back over your words, to you, they're fine. You know what you're talking about. You know exactly what's going on. You know what characters are in motion, what's in play. But when you are not partaking in that, when you are a fresh set of eyes, sometimes the poor editor doesn't get everything you're saying. The editor's not supposed to. The editor is supposed to look at every individual keystroke, grammar, punctuation mark, and they're supposed to be able to see what you're doing and hopefully follow along as that fresh set of eyes that you ask them to be. So, if any of you have gone on the web and purchased this book, and some of you have, I want to tell you that for the small and minor bits of bad grammar or punctuation, I apologize. It is a rookie mistake. When you write your first novel, write something that you know and you can be passionate about. But when you look back on it, you have to understand that first novel probably sucks. This was my second novel, and didn't have a whole lot of growth from first to second, but I had a lot of fun. And I continue to have a lot of fun with it, and I really enjoy the mindset of it. But I already knew the world I was getting into. I had been wanting to build something like this for years. So Elijah's story set in the world of the shift, for me, it was just a natural thing. For those of you that are having trouble, I will do my best to try to enunciate and try to enunciate everything proper and announce and clarify my words. And there has been a couple of instances where I have looked at a passage in the book and I have done or said something that's not there. Not that I lied interpreting it, but I knew in my head how I want that movie to play out. When I was writing this back in 2011 and 12, at the moment I was thinking of something else, or there's an entire portion in the prologue in the prelude about it where I just trail off. I had to think of something real quick while I was reading this on the camera. One other thing I'll say before, for those of you that are into live streaming and into this, I'm going to tell you to take up a hobby that you might not be comfortable with. Tabletop RPGs or board games are face-to-face affairs where you have to be quick on your feet mentally. And you have to be able to switch gears, and you have to be able to plan and tactically maneuver in order to come out with at least a winning strategy. If you want to get better If you want to be challenged, find some circles where you can do that. Okay, now we're going to be jumping into the book. Last portion of the story we were at, they met a dwarven man in the middle of their journey after their VW was needing some transmission work on it, and pretty much as a drive shaft. It's a VW bug. There's usually 2 in every junkyard. So Elijah and Shelia stop at a repair shop, and they get in and they decide to try to fix it. And that's primarily what they're doing while they're building a rapport with each other. Now, when he first met her, he was thinking something else. But poor Elijah is realizing exactly what type of person he's picked up. He's stubborn, though. Okay. And we just ended a scene where they discussed a few things about the world of Shift. Mainly the fact that Sheila is a horrible person who lets racist comments fall out of her mouth, like commas and out of English professors and swearing out of a United States Navy sailor. Anyway, as that scene ends, we'll pan over. Monty Williams looks at the flight roster from Cincinnati to St. Louis on his internal PDA. How in the hell am I supposed to win one for the team if I never get to bat? The damn Reds and Cardinals game really kills air traffic. All 6 of the flights between now and Thursday are booked. He exits out of the browser and dials Shara. What are you doing at this time of day? I thought you'd be at home enjoying someone else's company. Her voice purrs with desire and sarcasm. Can't find a flight out. Thought I'd enjoy the home scenery. Monty smiles. Are you giving in to my will and submitting to me tonight? Or were you going to have me be entertained by wait staff and slot machines? Shara, do you remember the time we had sex in the bathroom at my place? Her response is adequate. I swear every time we do something in the near dark, your eyes change. Like you get this almost purple hue to them. Monty, don't tell me this and be alone tonight. Her voice borders whispering and warbling. You know where I live. With that, he severs the connection. When she arrives at 9 p.m., his condo is illuminated only by candlelight and the orange tinge from the sunset outside. The 2 bay windows facing the west showcase the downtown of Cincinnati and the nearby suburbs of Norwood. Hardwood floors with oriental throw rugs tie together the chrome entertainment center and cool decor of the living room and den of Monty Williams' living quarters. Monty sits in the chrome whirlpool spa, watching the last bands of orange fade to red outside beyond Cincinnati. Watching Shara approach with the long shadows, he motions for her to come closer. She comes about, sitting in front of him so she can gaze fully on his 230-pound soft build. His short red hair is brushed back along the left side, probably with his hands. His wrinkles are fading into his skin with the tanning of the skin. He looks at her in the soft ambient lighting while the water swirls about his stomach and hips. Her legs are in black polyester comfortable pajama pants, showcasing the 12 constellations of the zodiac. A gold ankle bracelet dangles off her right foot. She is wearing black flip-flops that match her pants. A black sports bra turns her voluptuous D cups into an exaggerated monoboob, with a nice flat set of washboard abdominals to tie her large pelvic frame together. I don't deserve you, Monty whispers. Don't say that. She leans close and kisses his lips. When she pulls away, he repeats himself. Why, Monty? Because you want me for every reason why I want to forget who I am. I don't deserve to have someone like you, definitely like you, in my life. She nods. Your imperfection is nice. You try hard at your job. You do what you can to make those around you and your unit have a little easier day. You made it easy for me to be part of the Bureau. You were part of the Bureau in the making while you were a cop. I was surprised that you weren't Bureau before. I have a lot of reasons to excel, Monty. Just as you have your motivations, I have mine, and someday I will tell you why. Monty looks at her face. Her long bangs are pulled back into a ponytail. Her long locks of blonde hair spill to the middle of her back. Her lips part in an easy smile. In the low light, he can't tell what her eyes are. He can't tell what color her eyes are. Do it for yourself, not for me, Shara. I'm just a broken person that's still running on half a tank. Is there room for two in that thing? She pulls her pants off her hips, rolling them off her ankles. Her black and gold striped thong is undone and then cast aside. Monty holds his breath while he watches her undress. If I would have known I would have a woman like you when I was growing up, I probably would be able to smile and not keep trying to pinch myself. You're too hard on yourself, Monty. Despite what flaws you might have, there are people in that office building that had a chance with you long ago and now regret letting you go. I know you well enough that I will tell you until I'm dead, please don't leave me. With that, she braces herself on his shoulders while stepping in. Settling her hips on his, she cradles him against her breasts and runs her hands along the sides of his head. Pulling her calves in around him, she sits Indian style and feels him grow hard underneath her. Monty, if you don't use that erection on me in this hot tub, I'm going to shoot you with my Glock. Monty smiles, kissing above her nipples while angling himself inside her. Full of need, of desperation, of desire, he stretches and feels her warmth surround him. He continues to kiss along her shoulders, then up her neck, feeling her breath slowly roll down his shoulders. Monty, I need this, she whispers, cradling his ear closer to her full lips and then suckling on his lobe. I need you, and I have to have you. It is Monty's turn to almost shiver with total ecstasy. I called you for a reason. This is it. His voice is low and slow. I can only tell you the door is open. Her thighs begin to flex, building a cadence. I need your daddy juice, Monty. She whispers between tonguing his ear and neck and then kissing his hairline. Eldon, Marco, and Jesus sit in the White Castle restaurant. Away from the other guests, each of them has their plastic tray with their meals in front of themselves, along with their food wrapper piles. Eldon checks over his shoulder to make sure the other guests aren't listening. Marco slurps some of the Dr. Pepper before he begins. Okay, Tiffany told me that this guy, Grick, started a bunch of shit west of here in Wentzville. You think that our stuff isn't too far from there? Eldon asks. He snatches a fry from a plastic tray. Can't be. This guy had assistants getting here and there. I'm thinking that someone felt like their job was done. Marco looks up at Jesus. You think different? No. Jesus holds Eldon's gaze. So we find a hotel here in the gateway, then tomorrow we're back snooping around. You think that someone else has the Reds? No. We'd be getting calls left and right if they did. They have a signature. Marco, you need to tell us what the fuck is up with these things. The more you talk about this shit, the more I say let the Goblin Syndicate enjoy them for a limited time. There you won't be able to keep a hold of them from what you say. Eldon unwraps another slider. I figured you'd say that. Jesus looks at Eldon for a moment. You want to catch heat for this? Eldon holds his gaze until Jesus looks to his food. Both of you, quiet. Marco gives them both an even gaze. The silent replies from his companions do not have the same vibration as from the customers. Marco notes that they are the only non-black individuals in the building. Steely eyes from every shade of dark complexion, man, woman, and child peer at them, the lone dot of dawn and a pan of grease lining the edge. Let's go. Marco bundles the remainder of his food. His friends do the same and file out. The DeSoto fire domes sit in the lot. In the yellowed lighting outside of the White Castle, the trio note that their cars sit on bricks. The Vandals were complete with their mission, stripping the chrome from the grille and sides of the car. For moments, the trio stand silently. Various curses and swears and internal memos and promises to beat whomever did this fill each of their heads. Damn. Jesus spits on the ground. Fine. Eldon waves his friends across the highway and Marco starts keying in for a contact on his phone. With Marco's feet hitting the boulevard, he hears, AAA, this is Eleanor. How may I help you? Marco smiles. Still, there is a company that will answer your phone call with a live person. I'd like to phone in some vandalism. Eldon watches his friend while Jesus glances about, noting the traffic in the steakhouse. The highway fills up with traffic once more. Along storefronts, neon signs illuminate. People begin filtering into the nearby places of business for evening cocktails. Above the doors, mounted on rooftops of the diner houses, cameras pan about. You did this at sunset, in front of every white-collar restaurant in St. Louis Loop. This was not thought out. This was not thought out very well at all. Jesus announces to his companions, I'm going to go see if these have footage. I'm going to go see if these guys have footage. I was thinking the same thing. Eldon states. Elijah lays Sheila's head on the pillow. As he's getting ready to scoot off so she can sleep, one of her eyes snaps open. Miss my voice and biting racial commentary? I need you to sleep. It will take me a few hours to finish what we started on the bug. You'll drive us into Indiana tomorrow while I'm passed out. She wraps her arms around Elijah and tries to pull him back on top of herself. Come here, Elijah. I have to work. He tries to push off of her, and I have to say thank you. Her hips yawn and hiccup around his. Thank me when I'm able to feed our family. He wiggles and manages to partially free his legs. Please, Elijah. He exhales, his breath rolling down her nape. Can it wait for just one day? I didn't know you until yesterday. What would you do for a chance to be immortal, Elijah? Her eyes sparkle when she asks this. Turn it down. I'm not fond of growing pains. Just because I can live forever doesn't mean I'd let myself actually do it. He tries to pry the leg off his pelvic bone. Sheila rewraps her legs around Elijah's hips. What if it meant our children had a father to be around and help raise them? And chances are that she either loves me or she lusts me. One is fine for tonight. The other is exclusively for tonight. He tries to slip his hands between her hips and his own. I need to let me go. I need to fix this car, and if I dally further, I'll hold us up a day. I want out of here. He presses against her and elevates himself. She nods, releasing herself and falling back onto the couch. The Doug Connor theme starts, the disco beat and synthesized sound pour from the speakers. On screen, the anchor dangles from a helicopter skid high above a computer graphic of Los Angeles. Sheila watches the rest of the movie. Monty carries Shara into his bedroom. She lays her head on his shoulders, being pivoted about so they can walk through the doorway together. You can be romantic when you want to be. Monty smiles, trying not to let his muscle strain take over his face. He settles on the waterbed with her, feeling the mattress roll with the waves. Give me a few minutes. She cradles his head in her hands, loving on him. I'll give you as long as you need, Monty. She kisses her crucifix, then leans into him and kisses his forehead again. Forehead. It's forehead again. Why are you so forward-looking? He stares into her cleavage in the moonlit bedroom. He tries to blow the crucifix off her teat. I have time. I have time for once on my side. She heaves herself a little more, ensuring that his head is in her bosom. Monty looks at the crucifix on the upper slip of her tit. I've never seen you without that necklace, Shara. He feels her hips tighten around him, and he hugs her back, closing his eyes. And you won't. Living without it, symbolized so long before, reminds me daily of what I have now. And if God allows it, I'll have you. Monty nuzzles closer, feeling her nipple comfortably on his lips. If you had a dick, you'd have a stiffy for God. Shara's hips snug around Monty. Don't sleep yet, baby. You'll get your rest soon. Mommy is all ready for her daddy juice. The rest of it, come on. Her voice is low and rhythmic, her hand curling around the back of his neck. She gets rewarded with him planting soft kisses on the nape of her neck. Leonard Sarzini sits on the bench in Gateway Park, facing the Mississippi River. His cloth, slick-back cap sitting on the salt and pepper hair. He watches his son Anthony with the large ailing mastiff on her lead. The lights along the sidewalk give Leonard some semblance of hope. There he is, taking care of a good animal. I'm saying that I'm tired of finding women that are just messed up, Dad. He looks away while Camille urinates on the grass. You ever think that we'll go back inside the arch again? He points to the monument. St. Louis cardinal colors of red, yellow, and white illuminate the structure, bathing both men. No, son. It won't help me and it won't help you. He keeps his gaze on his son. Would you shut up about women for a day in your life? Anthony takes a breath in, waiting for Camille to stop squatting and actually pee. I named this dog after your mother. I felt like if I can't bring myself to tell your mother to shut up, this dog, it can take the brunt of my pain with everything and everyone. Leonard gestures to the loyal canine. You never work on your schedule, Antonio. You have to be flexible. Work with others on what they want. Complaining about the transient horrors in your life won't get sympathy from me either. I've known her for decades, Dad. Shut up. He points a wrinkled finger at his son and hears himself exhale. You know why I asked you to come with me and the dog tonight? No, Dad. Camille stands up proudly. She shakes her head vigorously as if to repurpose herself. Occasionally, your mother asks me to help you out. Maybe it will help get some common sense to dribble in that thick scalp of yours. You know, you could be a capo if you ever wanted to be. I don't know if you'll ever be as good as your brother, but I'll not hold my breath. Anthony nods. You're saying I'm a fuck up. Well, he slaps his hands together. When your grandparents were running the area, we didn't have all the shit and superpowered garbage around here. We didn't have the Cardinals with 3 straight pennants. We had people, regular people. Sometimes they were really good at what they did. Sometimes they want to succeed so bad, they forget all about what to do next and their ambition kills their effort. Camille wanders to Leonard, where he scratches her behind the ears. Her tongue lolls lazily out of her mouth, unable to contain her happiness of being scratched at her dermal happy spot. So, Antonio, we don't do much. I orchestrate sometimes in your company for your benefit, but mostly not. We're strained mainly because you want to get involved with every wayward strumpet that walks along. For as long as I can try, we will be the bank for our organization. Fine, Dad. Besides, you never really do anything with these women. You more or less just use them for a weekend and toss them aside. Don't you think that you should start doing something a little more useful? Your mother and I would like to see you as a father sometime. In that vein, we would prefer if you'd be resourceful enough to do it yourself without tripping over your own dick, too. Camille tugs on her lead. A couple walking their poodle along a park sidewalk has her attention. She whines. Anthony tugs once, and Camille stops. She looks to Leonard and lets her tongue dangle out the side of her mouth. She smiles at her grandfather. The swaying of the leash causes her to give a look of concern to Anthony. Son, your mom and I want you to move back into the building. You can do what you want, but we think that having you at home and giving you a couple of pieces of responsibility with the properties will help get you focused. Fine. As far as women are concerned, learn how to handle that dog. A good woman will not have her defenses up if you have the love and respect of a good dog. Leonardo watches his son move about. You've always had a problem listening. I can tell you that the way this dog looks at you, that you have some growing to do. Anthony sighs. Either you'll figure it out or you'll drop the ball. He slaps his knees, keeping his son's gaze. He stands, motioning his son to walk with him in the St. Louis night. Anthony exhales deeply. I'll even call you boss when I give you status updates. Eldon watches a black flatbed driver finish strapping the fire domes to the ramp. How long? The man straightens himself to address the Mexican human. Give it about 3 hours. Your boys should be able to find something to occupy your time if you have it. The white name tag on the gray overalls reads Clarence. Marco pipes up. Like we have a choice now. Just be available when it is time to drop this baby off to you. I'm sorry that someone did this, but as a mechanic in good standing, I'm more offended about this than you. Clarence looks at the men. He offers them conciliatory cigars before he heads to the cab of the truck. Eldon dismisses the offer with an egalitarian hand. Whoever it was, they were kind enough to only do chrome and superficial damage to this. One of our crafters will sculpt the chrome for you, and Lucky Fitter will be able to make these things look like factory spec in that time. AAA has the best repairmen and arcanists in the field. If you can afford vehicles like these, then you can of course afford AAA. And you're being given a replacement vehicle for the time being. A black modified 1978 Ford Thunderbird with more chrome than a Harley shop and spinners rolls into the parking lot. The convertible's V8 rumbles low and sure of itself. A human, white male man with blonde wavy hair sets the transmission in park. Clarence stops working the chains for a moment to introduce the driver. Gentlemen, this is Gary Livingston. He's the facilitator of this vehicle and caretaker for all the local AAA rentals. Gary steps back around Clarence after clapping him on the back itself. Gary steps around Clarence after clapping him on the back. Thanks, Clarence. Guys, I have a full tank of gas available to you. Should everything not go as we planned, there is a couple of rooms available in the Marriott Hotel on the 270 Loop, northwest side of the scenery. If you don't use it, and we'll give it to you in a gas card. No shit, man. With gas topping around $16 a gallon in Illinois, we have to go with that. Do I need to give you folks any other items? Gary produces a clipboard from the leather passenger seat of the T-Bird. Pulling the pin off the top of it, he hands it to Eldon. No. Eldon signs for the rental and gives both men a $20 tip. Thank you. Clarence doesn't look at the green until after he slams the passenger door shut in a tow truck. Pocketing the Jefferson, like I can buy 5 of cigars with this. These guys are wonderful. Gary then gives Eldon and Marco a friendly nod and gets in the passenger side of the cab. Eldon runs his hands along the antique car, brushing it lightly with his fingertips. Marco goes to the passenger side and slides in, feeling the leather crack under his medium frame. With the tow truck revving up before it enters the street, Marco motions for Eldon to look across the street. Jesus is walking back from the restaurant with a grin on his face. Talk, hombre. Okay, Utu. The cameras across the street show initially there were visual disturbances with the feed. Switching to an infrared display had 3 goblins working in less than 20 seconds, peeling chrome from our babies like it wasn't nobody's. His voice trails off while he takes it into fact that a rare Thunderbird is available for usage. Fuck me. What the hell do we pay on these premiums, SA? Do massive for the premium, so at least we're rolling out in style. Let's go kick some ass, eh? Eldon grins and thumbs up behind him. You right rear, bitch. Jesus doesn't say anything when he saddles over the side of the car into the leather back seat. Running his hands all around the back of the car, he can only grin. I thought you were shitting me when you say about $1,000 a month. Marco turns a key and then rumbles onto the street. The car is a floating boat on the bumpy streets of St. Louis suburbs, feeling no shock from the potholes. Hombres, I could really get into this car. I love the fire domes, but this has a better ride to it. The dashboard is fully restored with a tiny input jack for an iPod and a strictly AM radio. Jesus rolls up his sleeve, using his wrist-mounted PDA. Let me find you one of these, Holmes. That's my boy. That's our savior, Eldon chimes in. Find 2. Marco navigates the car effortlessly into the municipality of Bella Villa. Rolling to a stop in front of a pawn shop, he shuts the car's engine and smiles. Eldon, stay with the beast. You really like this car, eh? Fuck yes, I do. Jesus vaults out of the back seat, and Marco starts onto the street. They look both ways, ensuring that no passing traffic can pose a physical threat to them. The bell rings, with the door opening and closing, both men making their way in. Discarded and pre-loved relics from decades past line the aisles and are stacked to the ceiling. Betamax players, large bulky home receivers, musical instruments, and big ungainly toys are haphazardly stacked on the cracked wooden floor. A male gnomish voice with a Midwestern accent rolls through the merchandise. You 2 need me quick, or can I have a minute? Marco holds Jesus back. We'll wait, shorty. Jesus shrugs his shoulders, moving about the aisles. Glancing through the stacks of obsolete equipment, he shakes his head. The cash register door slams, and a gnomish voice echoes off every surface. All right, be careful tonight. I'll see you at the game tomorrow. A woman's voice responds, Cards win! Yeah. A human in her late 20s, portly built, makes her way past the 2 Mexican humans. With her moving past them, she smiles politely at Marco and Jesus. Jesus points to the front of the store. Marco notes over 10 beveled mirrors are mounted high on the ceiling and walls. The 2 men move up past a stack of CRT computer monitors and LCD screens. A cardboard sign above them states, still working, unlike the new stuff. A male gnome stands on the counter, walking on a thick butcher block. His lime green hair is complemented by the grapevine tattoos that go all the way up his arms and presumably the rest of his body. He stands with a stoop, not to hit his head on the ceiling fans rolling above him. How goes it, Fruit? Marco asks. Lost another hooker? Fruit replies back. You gotta let that one rest sometime. It's almost the 100s, no? Jesus smiles. What brings you three to my humble shop? He rolls his sleeves down to the wrists and then runs his hands through his lime green hair mane. We got a runner we're trying to catch. Marco stands next to the counter. He looks at the tattoos on Fruit's arms, realizing that the same signature is on the back of his neck. When did you go get your skin finished in El Dorado? Been done for 2 years. You and I just don't meet up anymore. Seriously, Fruit, we need this runner. You have a name? The gnome looks at Jesus hard. He's working with Grick, but Grick, Fruit interjects, fuck that retard. He blew up the local and state news, probably everything nationwide too. Fruit spits behind the counter, then looks down at his 2 customers. You two want to owe me a favor? We're here. You need us to run something somewhere again? Jesus looks up at the gnome. Fruit claps his hands together. I could make rent with this. He rocks forward and back, bending all the way. Jesus pulls Marco's shoulder. Let's go find him elsewhere. We'll be headed all over Oz trying to find this shit for the Lollipop Gang. Fruit snaps a kick to Jesus' chin. Blood sprays from his mouth, and he goes down like a sack of bricks. I can't take you anywhere. Marco shakes his head. What do you have for us, Fruit? He hoists Jesus up by the arm and shoulder. Get him the fuck out of my store. You burned your bridge by bringing this disrespectful asshole in here. Fruit, I need this. Marco stamps his foot. And America needs an economy, but I don't see either happening, Marco. You want something? Now I have something for out-of-town folks. His eyes drift to Marco. Hit their stash houses in Shrewsbury, the Sarzinis. I don't have anything new against Anthony, but the lieutenants and the pharmaceuticals are getting in my way, always with the hallucinogens. If you do that, I'll even get a potion to mend that broken jaw of your friends. Marco looks at Fruit, then at his friend. I gotta leave him here. I can't take him with us like that. Plus, Marco gets interrupted again. Leave him here. I'll have one of the local girls tend to him. Make sure he stays out. I don't need any excess shit, but you don't need to worry about him while you're filling up the river. Addresses? Marco asks. Fruit pulls a roll of blank receipts off the register. Inking the information down, he giggles. Marco walks from the pawn shop, the bell ringing with the door shutting. Where's Jesus? Eldon asks. He's going to stick around here. We have a job to do if we want Fruit's help. Eldon nods. We're probably up on a satellite right now. The brickwork across the street has a cameraman in the window. He was snapping video the entire time I was on lookout. St. Louis is almost as bad as Chicago, Marco huffs. They get in the T-Bird, and Marco hands the information to Eldon. Eldon reaches over the glove box and pulls out a map. Unfolding it, he plans his route. While he's doing this, Marco turns on his cellular phone. It hums briefly and then selects his voicemail after the startup process is initialized. A woman's voice comes over the speaker. You have 6 unheard messages. Eldon gets the car moving while Marco does this. So what happened inside? Jesus ran his mouth. You think that for being named that, he'd be a better guy, right? There are more like him in prison. True. Marco looks along the street. The sun is low enough that the taller buildings in the residential and commercial districts are blocking it. Eldon pulls his sunglasses out. You have your piece? Yeah, Chrome is ready. Both men smile, and Eldon makes one last left turn. Pulling the car to the street, he finds a long empty spot along the boulevard. It is an empty street with derelict cars along both sides of the asphalt. Tall, 3-story brick storefronts and boarded-up buildings face the road. Marco hops out and sprints to the other side of the road. Eldon pulls off and away, rounding the corner. And as Eldon and Marco are getting ready to cause some mischief in St. Louis, I'm going to hang it up there on page 155. I really enjoy being able to read this to you guys. I'm going to try to do this more often. Right now I'm hitting it once a week, and I need to do more often. I get it. I do want to grow this channel. I am on a mission to grow my channel to at least 300 subscribers. I do want to port my entire YouTube, my whole YouTube library off of YouTube and copy it over on Odyssey. So I need 300 subscribers. So if you like what I've got, if you like what I have to say, then, well, stay tuned, because I was going to do 2 live streams, but I'm going to just recent United States election. You guys can figure out that I was not exactly a person that enjoyed Joe Biden. I suffered through the Obama years like about anybody else, but I can tell you that Illinois is worse for Obama. And he moved to Washington, D.C. after his term was over. He did that to procure a spot in bad American history, which our history is rife with. For the past 4 years, he had orchestrated the media to say that Trump was illegitimate, that it wasn't right that he was president. And we had a narrative coming out of DC for 4 years that Russia is why we have Trump as the president of the United States up until the 20th of January. Now, if you want to believe that, and you can believe whatever you want, but if you want to believe that, I have less respect for you than I did before. I'm not a huge Trump fan, but I have to say that in 4 years, 4 years, I made out better under Trump than I did with Obama. Now, a lot of that was my own doing. The president doesn't go out and fill out applications. The president does not go out and work for me. The president does not go out and put his pants on in the morning and work alongside me. And no matter what you might have heard, Obama didn't build that. If you have a job in the private sector and you have a job that requires good talent and service and dedication, chances are you were taught how to do your job right. But to have a politician tell you that you need the government for you to work every day, they willfully over-exaggerate their importance in life. There is no need for you to be thankful for government. Government only is responsible for making sure we have a form of currency and we are safe in terms of our national defense is working. Now, there's multiple accusations which are based in fact, have plenty of video evidence about fraud for the 2020 election. YouTube can say what they like. They can ban my channel, but Biden did not win, honestly. He was selected to win. They altered the machines to count the votes differently. This has been proven time and time again. It has not been shown in a court of law because a court of law has always said this is a procedural issue, or Texas, you don't have a basis to do this lawsuit. And therefore you have over 50 failed court attempts and only 2 successful attempts by the Trump administration. Now here we are, less than 9 days left before the inauguration of the coronation of Kamala Harris, which is what it's going to be. And if Joe Biden does happen to be inaugurated, it will be an asterisk presidency because he will have it hanging over him the entire time. And he won't stay in for long. He's done. He's done being president as soon as he gets the title, probably. He might try to fake it for 2 years. The guy has to be boosted up on B12, blood thinner, and Viagra for him to stand in front of a podium and read the bouncing ball telegraph, teleprompter for him to do his job right. He is the worst presidential elect we've ever had. And I've been through some pretty poor individuals. I mean, William Jefferson Clinton was not a man of culture. I mean, he had a sexual appetite that was fun to talk about, and he was good for the Inquirer and all the other little crappy newspapers because it talked about all the various things going on. And it kind of reminds me of 92 right now because everybody's talking shit about Biden the way we were talking shit about Bill Clinton. But on Wednesday of last week, you had people, I wouldn't really call them that, you had a group of Trump patriots go to D.C. and they were protesting. And then you had a group of other people that were inserted into it that they're Antifa. I'm trying to do this and fuck with the YouTube scrubbers, but I'm just going to say that Antifa was there and they took some protesters inside the buildings. Now, a lot of them are getting arrested because they did selfies inside the Capitol building, which I find hilarious. Now, from a serious perspective, the United States people have been told in their founding documents, the moment this does not perform for you as a working government should, you have the right to take it back. And that's in our founding documents. You can do that. When the government no longer supports the will of the people. And so you have a group of angry individuals that were there. But the people that got hurt were the protesters. One woman, Ashley Babbitt. Nobody has made a single mention of her on mainstream news. But she was like a 14-year Air Force security woman, a police officer for the Air Force. And her Twitter was decorated up in Trump this, Trump that. It threw me off. If she's a plant, it threw me off. Congratulations to whoever made that. But I think it's an honest Twitter. And she looked like an honest person. Now, I don't know what she was doing, trying to jump up in a window, and then she got shot. And you just kind of watch and some clips where she's shot and bloody, and then looks like, another video, her life is draining out of her eyes. And the account said that she said, hey, don't worry about it. And then she's gone. But you had other people that died at the Capitol. One of them got trampled. Another one had a pulmonary situation, heart attack. Not a lot of video on that. There's camera. Everybody's got a camera. You think that there would be video on the other 3 deaths. One of the cops got killed. That was at the protest, and that's sad. I'm sure his family didn't expect to have this going on. But for D.C. to get upset at this protest that happened, and for a piece of shit Joe Biden, fuck you, Joe Biden. I will call them protesters. They were not rioters. They are not terrorists. And for you to be so sensitive and mealy-mouthed and such a pathetic excuse of a human being. Joe Biden, you should think about suicide. Seriously. Because you're a piece of shit. And you're telling us that a 2-hour excursion of people protesting at the Capitol after a full fucking summer and fall of watching rioters destroy small town, small business America, and watching insurance claim go after insurance claim after insurance claim. There is not a single fucking instance where you said, how dare you, to any of their Antifa or BLM people. How dare you, Joe Biden, and how dare you, corporate America, slander the Trump supporters and patriots that did the same thing with far less damage. Fuck off. Hey, Shellback. No, I'm a little pissed. This is serious. You guys can't have the same thing happen with two different groups. This group good, they destroy small business. This group bad, they broke a window in the Capitol. As much as I want to slap the people that stole the podium for Nancy Pelosi, there's no need for us to try to confuse Americans. We saw what's going on. And what we're dealing with here right now is the fact that Joe Biden is being groomed to go into a position he has no right to be in. And you guys that are cheering this on are only doing it to line your pockets at the expense of the rest of us. How many small businesses are never going to open again? 20% since the start of your bullshit pandemic. You're lucky that we didn't plant Harry Reid or Mitt Romney or Nancy Pelosi on one of those iron fences lining the Capitol. You're very lucky. I wish it would have happened, because after decades of watching 20% of my paycheck disappear in the ether on payday to FICA, who the fuck is that? You? After watching this happen for 2 decades, Congress people getting upset about their miserable little house, the people's house, that belongs to us. We paid for it, fuckers. Not you. All you do is transact and destroy our fucking livelihoods in it. I can't wait. I really hope Trump presses the insurrection button. I really hope that he manages to shove all that evidence in front of the cameras and we are forced to watch it as the Supreme Court failed us, as all the other lesser courts failed us. There's not a single fucking tear I'll shed for you. I'm sorry about the police officer that lost his life in Washington, D.C. I'm very sorry about Ashley Babbitt and the other 3 people that lost their lives and the other people that may have gotten hurt or injured. I wasn't there. I was cheering them on. You know, you can't tell us that this was a mostly peaceful protest in midsummer with BLM destroying a police station or a Wendy's. And then heaven forbid your fucking office gets hurt because some guy in a shag and Chewbacca bikini disrespects it. Think of the people and the children. Man, fuck off. Anyway, that's what I have to say. Yeah, Shellback, I'm talking against the narrative. As it will be. God, I hope that insurrection button gets pressed. I really do. There's a lot of chatter about it on the fringe sites. We might be under martial law the next 6 hours. That'd be great. That'd be great. I'd love to see 90% of Washington go off and do the perp walk like an Illinois governor. That'd be awesome. And now you have these businesses, these corporations saying that anybody that supported Trump, we're not going to do business with them. Really? You're going to play this card? Corporate America trying to get ready for the big reset, huh? Glad to know you're on that side. We're not going to build back better. We have no need for it. We're going to get rid of the stupid mask mandates. We're going to get rid of the stupid ideology for this. We're going to follow the science, the scientism people. I feel sorry for them too. I mean, I don't have a vaccine for influenza or for the common cold. What do you think is going to happen with COVID? Oh, it's already mutated into 40 different strains or more. No. We need to wear masks forever. Stupidest idea I've heard yet. It doesn't jive well in my head. It seriously feels like I'm partaking in some crappy ritual. There's something in a Bronze Age like cult book that I could find that would say 6 foot distance and wear a mask. This doesn't jive. This is not the America I want to live in. But, YouTube and people of culture, it's just my thoughts. Showback's like, I found the insurrection button. It'd be great. It'd be great. I know Trump he's done this unusual tour lately. He was here in Texas for a little bit, went up Nebraska. I think he headed over to Wright Pat, but he's got military all around him. And if anybody was around him that was saying, we have to arrest you, Mr. Trump. Well, I think it would have happened by now, but he's been in the company of military the entire time. I don't know. I think it still might happen. And when I say that, I mean it might happen. Like Trump might pull something out of his ass, or he might table flip the rules and might table flip the entire game. Be like, I win. As much as Mike Pence made his 10 silver as Judas getting paid right there at 4 a.m. after they count the electoral votes, I honestly think that you see that guy, he's done in Washington. He's going to have to hang out with Mitt Romney and beg for a job. He's going to have to go make coffee for him or something. But it's just my thoughts about things. Do appreciate you popping in here, Shellback, and had some other people in here earlier. Got messages on the phone about it. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm done talking. The only thing I wanted to say is that, like, if we are stuck with a Biden-Harris presidency, I can only imagine that Biden will be in as the man for about 6 or 7 days. And then he's going to be 25th Amendment. Whoop, there's that. And here we have Mrs. Harris and her coronation. And about a week later, there's a flight from China that comes over, and Chairman Xing. Yeah. House Speaker Pelosi needs to be keel-hauled. Yeah, I was thinking drawn and quartered. That would be just as fun. We're going to see the Pornhub action of Kamala Harris and her amazing mouth and Chairman Xing, because that's exactly all she's good for is, are you a more powerful person than me in this world? And that's what she does. She uses that mouth to great effect. I feel kind of sorry for her husband, but he's a little cuck. He's just a piece of shit. But I hope you guys, those of you that watch this on the rewind, if you stop and you don't watch my commentary about politics and just enjoy the story that I narrated for you, I hope that you enjoy it. Probably should have separated those two, but Shellback, you doing pretty good, man? And be up for about another 10 minutes. After that, I need to go to bed. If you got the time, you say you're surviving, but if you got time, you want to jump in a panel, we'll talk for a few minutes. Haven't talked to you for a bit. I know I've been seeing you all over the other panels, which makes me really happy. Give it a few minutes. Is Parlor still up? Yeah, it should be. Hey, there he is. Wait on you to connect your camera and your. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Wait on you to connect your camera and your. You're surviving pretty well.
What the heck? Hold on a second.
Sure.
I might. Good Lord. Switch the speakers, whatever the volume.
I did.
I don't know, the damn internet's being freaking pokey. There we go. Good Lord. Oh. Okay. I think I got it switched over now. I was watching some stuff and I had I got the TV that I use as a number 2 screen or whatever. To make things bigger.
Yeah.
But anyway, I plugged the freaking my earbuds in, and I'm like, oh crap, the freaking volume thing is still on the TV. So, but anyway, yeah, I mean, you didn't have to freaking send a link, but whatever.
I want to talk to you for a few minutes. I want to be in bed here in a few minutes, but I thought I'd say at least hey and how you been doing, and hopefully well for you.
Yeah, I know some people have to work, huh?
Man, I've got a lot tomorrow. I've got like 7 stops I got to do, and I'm wondering like how the hell are we going to do it all? I can't roll out before sunrise. That's the problem.
No, I don't have a job to go to, so.
Yeah, well, you're one of many millions right now.
But
seriously, there's a lot of people I know that are in your shoes, and they're here. Like, I would have never thought that Texas would be at the point where like we're having a hard time with jobs, but we're having a hard time with jobs.
Well, I mean, like I don't know. I got it has been a while, but I mean, I got on the little, job website or whatever, and it's like there was stuff there, but nothing really for me. You know what I'm saying? And which, I'm at the at the point where I mean I'd freaking wash dishes at a freaking restaurant, but hey, they're all fucking closed.
Yeah, that's the problem we've got here.
It's I don't know. Right now, I'm actually just waiting for the other shoe to drop and start earning my living and as a member of a MLL militia. I was trying to be I was trying to be crafty with the word, but
I caught part of it and I'm like, Was that militia?
But seriously, I'm seriously, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop and get my Mel Gibson freaking Patriot on. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's going to be a lot more like. I really think it's going to be almost like cyberpunk. I really do. You're going to have certain people with internet access, and they've got jobs coming off their phone, and you have this underclass of us that we've got to go find this guy and listen. I need about $80. What can I do for you for $80? And he's like, well, you're pretty ugly, so no blowjob, but I do need you to take this item about 135 miles, and that's your $80. And I think it's really going to be like that because I'm willing to bet that if there is something that happens pretty traumatically here in the next couple of days, I think we're going to shut down for like 5 days, maybe 10 days of darkness.
Well,
that's what I keep hearing.
Yeah.
That's I don't want to think about that, but I think after that 10 days, things are going to largely return back to normal, depending on who gets to wear the crown. You know, we might have to have masks for another 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Or not.
The what was it? The first 100 days is what old Sleepy was said once upon a time. Wait, I don't know. It's if he even gets to sit in the freaking office that long. But
do you remember the movie The Hunt for Red October?
Yeah.
There's a scene in that movie where Sean Connery trips Tim Curry, his executive officer, breaks his neck, and then spills a bunch of coffee all over the office. And he brings the people in, and he's like, oh my God, he slipped. I think that will happen to Biden if he's vice president. Oh my God. Oh.
Yeah. Dude, I wouldn't doubt if they pulled an Epstein on his ass. But
there's a lot of chatter here lately about him still being up and kicking. Have you heard that?
I think I saw one thing where somebody's like, yeah, he's still pulling in, he's still breathing and he's singing like a freaking songbird.
And it's just really weird because this all came out here recently. But Hetty Lamar's in chat. Hetty, good to see you. And I miss flirting with you all the time over in John Talks' chats. Anyway, no, it's just really weird to hear all this stuff coming out, and I'm really waiting for other people to start talking about the Hillary Clinton emails that just dropped on the web. Because WikiLeaks just got a huge dump of emails.
Yeah, dude, I think I heard about that like a week ago or yeah.
Nobody's talking about it, and I don't know why. I mean, the fringe over there, they're talking about it, but it is it's there.
Well, it's the MSM, going, no. You need to listen to this. We're talking about this.
30.
Don't look over there. Look at us. Like
I've seen the directories myself, and I have been to that promised land, and those emails are there.
Yeah, dude, I don't. Oh, that fucking cunt. I'm sorry for the colorful language, but
you're talking about Hillary Clinton. That's fine.
Yeah, anybody that gets away with something that would land me in Leavenworth for 30 years to life, no, fuck her. But Anyway, it's yeah, they're supposedly they're gonna start impeachment number 2 and all this crap tomorrow. It's like,
You really believe it's going to fly?
well, it's like what the fuck for? I mean, the guy's got 10 more days to his presidency, supposedly. Okay, what's the point? It's like, if there was nothing going on like they want you to believe, why the hell are they going through the fucking trouble? Huh?
I think they're super scared. I mean, they even canceled the entire inauguration for Biden and Harris. They canceled it. What's going on? Why would you cancel it? This should be a shoe-in. You guys should make a big party. Make it to where everybody could get together like it was a BLM protest. And they could just all be there downtown waving their little American flags and celebrating. We have our first woman of color vice president, and we can't wait for the Chairman Z Pornhub video to drop. This is going to be great. And we're gonna have no Orange Man bad in the White House.
Right.
And you think they would be going forward with it, but they've canceled it. Why did they cancel it? What was the reason? There's got to be a reason as to why this was canceled.
I like how she's Harris is being touted as the first black woman or whatever, and she's like, what, half or quarter or something like that? I mean, she's
Indian and then Indian.
Yeah, she's half, thank you, come again, freaking Indian. It's like, I mean, geez Louise. And the thing is, they're just the only reason they're calling her black is to freaking pander to those certain group of voters. It's like, it's like, get the fuck out of here.
For people who require political identification, that's why they have that out there.
But yeah. Oh, hi, Hetty. I'm not sure who you are, but hi.
She's a real doll. She's a real sweet lady that I found in John Talks' chat about 6 months ago. And every time I'm in there, I always throw nice, kind words to her because she's a real sweetheart to me. And I mean, she's just a real super person.
Yeah.
It's just I didn't expect you or her to pop in. I mean, literally, this is one of those times where I'm reading a book, okay, and you popped in after I was done reading, and then she popped in, and if I didn't have to work in about 5 hours, 6 hours, I'm like, yeah, let's stay up and party. No, I can't. I just finished my tequila and concoction.
Yeah. Actually, I was listening to you read for a little bit, and then I was kind of like flipping back and forth between that and Twitter, like in the Twitter DMs and stuff, and then I flipped over and noticed Demaj was talking, so I kind of put him on for a little bit, and then I came back, after he was done, and that's when I finally said something to you. But yeah, I heard you reading for a little bit. But yeah, I just, oh man, I don't know. It's the calendar says it's 2021, but it still seems like 2020. I mean, it's. And the thing is, I can be, I can be just as enough, as much as, Mr. Tough Guy as the next, but, on honestly, I've been freaking like sitting alone and depressed in my apartment since freaking June. You know, it's like this. Yeah, well, I say June because that's when I quit going to school. Because after I was going to school. I was going to class at the local college, right? And when the coof came to town, they're like, well, the spring quarter is going to be totally online. And so after doing that and failing every class because I was at home basically trying to teach myself from watching videos by the instructors, and not having classmates to ping off of and all this stuff, and I'm like, what's the point in wasting what little benefits I have left from the military, if I'm just going to sit here and fail every class. But the thing is, that was my income. The living stipend from school was my income. Basically I was treating school as my job. But when you're not going to school, you're not getting paid. So basically,
you've got to keep FAFSA. You've got to keep that money rolling in.
But I was
otherwise
I switched over from 30 to 33. I switched over to post 9/11.
Yeah.
And so they pay the college what the college needs, and then they give you a living stipend. So, but anyway, so basically ever since June, I've been, a freaking unemployed bum, just camping out by himself in his apartment because, everything's closed down or, and it's like stay at home so you don't spread the coof and all this crap, and it's, I mean, I'm on, I'm over here on the West Coast, right? And it's in the state of Washington, and freaking our piece of shit Governor Inslee is almost as bad as freaking Herr Newsom, in California. So it's the same, it's the same tactics. It's like, do as we say, not as we do. You stay at home and be unemployed and get depressed, and we're gonna go out to dinner at fancy restaurants and all this crap. It's like, but anyway,
Eddie's there in your corner. I don't know if you see that or not.
Yeah, I see that.
Not a bum. You're just doing what you're fucking. You don't have any options. You're in a state where they've shut down everything. You can't go to the local bar and talk to people. You can't go to a restaurant, enjoy yourself. You got to get everything delivered. Everything's got to either be curbside or delivery.
Dude, I mean, which I don't know. It's funny. Maybe I'm just like enough of a boomer that it just. Anyway. The word meme, I still don't understand where that came from. But anyway, I saw this meme a while back, and it was a picture of like, some of the founding fathers or whatever, it's like a, revolutionary war time period picture, and the caption was talking about, we met in the churches, we met in the taverns, yada yada yada, And then it was like, does it make sense now? Because it was in reference to the, to everything that's going on now. This meme was basically saying, they're keeping us from going to the bars and churches and everything, so we can't talk to each other. Which when we've got this stuff here. We've got YouTube and Twitter and all this stuff. Although right now, I mean, hell, they shut down the freaking president of the United States. The president can't even fucking tweet. So anyway, it's it's control, man. That's all it is. It's fucking control.
What state you're in?
I'm in Washington. And the only reason I'm up here is because of my offspring. I've got I got one here and I got one in Oregon. And if it wasn't for that, I would probably be living in Texas with Bruce or in Florida with,
the rest of the fandom.
With the people, that we know in Florida. Yeah. Because, other than the kids, the only other, well, I mean, I've got cousins and whatnot in Arkansas, but like direct family, mom, dad, brother, sister. My mother's in New Hampshire and my brother's in Florida. So, I'm way out of pocket as far as being close to family, other than my kids, which, being divorced from wife number one and separated from wife number two, neither one of the kids live with me. So, yeah. Anyway. You could just like cut all this out of your video and post it. It's like
I probably will at a later point. I won't do it tonight. This will stay up the way it is, but I just want to make sure you're doing okay, because I know we fight depression. Like, for some odd reason, like I get in like these moods where I'm just like crap. And I don't know if it's like every vet that I know, but like I think we've talked a couple times and I've both seen like the things I fight, they're the things you fight. And I want to make sure that you're doing okay. You're not thinking about like doing crazy shit. And like,
well, not to myself, no.
We are never the type that would like self-harm. No. You would take that scalpel to the people that are causing us financial problems. And that's where, like, let me make sure you're not like getting ready to go visit like, a government office.
Yeah, no.
I need you to be safe. I need you to be of good mind, and we're going to communicate still. But I always try to look out for you and some of the other guys that are ex-military, like K-Fox 19 and such.
19 K-Fox. He's a good dude too.
Yeah, he really is.
But that's one of the things too, man. It's like all the things that are like, on the rise, during all this crap, like suicide and all this stuff, and it's like, freaking alcoholism and freaking drug addiction and all that shit's on the fucking rise. But it's okay, because we're
closer together alone.
Yeah, we're not spreading the freaking worst thing since the freaking Spanish flu.
there's
Yeah, whatever. It fucking something that's got a goddamn 99% survival rate. Fuck off. Anyway,
everybody that you read about with the Spanish flu, like they would either talk about the fact that they knew members of their family or friends that were really close, they died. Somebody died that was really close to them because it wiped out like a sixth of the population here in the States. And it was not just the Spanish flu. People had these gauze masks that they would have to wear around each other, and that caused bacterial pneumonia. And that killed more people than the influenza they were trying to fight.
Yeah.
And that goes right into this entire thing of wearing a mask, 15 days to flatten the curve.
Oh.
They don't understand in the government, or maybe they do and they don't care, is that their cure is actually going to do more harm than the actual disease itself.
Yeah. Oh, well, see that good news. Good news. Nobody caught the flu last year because of COVID.
That is good. And nobody died of old age either. That was pretty cool. That was snazzy.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna wrap this up because I like I said, I was wanting to go to bed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like probably 20 minutes ago. Yeah.
I want to go to bed, but I have to go to bed. I have to drive a shit sucker truck.
You know, when you get to be your age, I know you need the sleep.
Yeah, I know, right? But I'm going to see you here this week. Are you in the gaming lounge or no?
What do you mean? Well, I mean,
are you what other panel are you part of during the week?
Oh, I'm not. The internet situation hasn't been reliable for a little while. So, but anyway, I'm not. Okay. The only things that I'm really on, or that I'll be on this week is Latino Slants channel for the X-Files on Thursday. But you know, other than that, you know, I've kind of been out of it for a little while because you know, no job, no money to pay the internet bill, you know, that type of thing. So
a lot of people are in that exact same situation. I know more people that have that problem right now than what I know that have people that have the same job they had at the start of this.
Yeah. Which, you know, I mean, it's going to be that way, you know, come the start of next month. You know, if something doesn't change, I'm going to be right back into, you know, being off the grid, so to speak. So,
yikes.
Yeah. But anyway, I've nice meeting you too, Hetty. Kind of.
Got a question for you, Showback. Where you live, how close is a septic or a plumber job or office? Because I can tell you that if you jump into a septic or plumbing location, you are probably going to have a opportunity to at least get a crappy job, literally speaking, as a helper, because you'd be surprised. We pick up these dudes at my job, at my place of business, that they don't last. And like, we just need them to ride in the truck with us, help us with the hoses, help us get things done. I'm not going to ask you ever to drive. Just be a helper.
Yeah.
Just be a helper. You know, and a lot of that's the entire crew or the entire mindset of most septic companies. They always hire a guy that he doesn't have a driver's license for the big trucks. He can drive himself to work in his Honda or whatever, but or his truck. But like, he just sits there and rides along with the guy. And whenever they got to back up the truck, he gets out, he backs up the truck. He makes sure the guy has the right tools in the hand, and that's it. So if you know of a septic job nearby, I know this sounds like a shitty job, but you probably could get hired on with it, especially if you lied and said, I was a hull technician in the Navy. And anybody that knows Navy jobs, hull techs. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, fucking turd chasers. Yeah. Well, that's another thing too. That like what you just said reminded me. Another casualty of all this stuff. Me being having no income and all that stuff. A guy gets behind on child support. And when you get behind on child support far enough, they suspend your driver's license.
We have a way to get.
No, well, see, here's the thing. It's that practice is in place as an incentive for you to not get behind in your child support in the first place.
When they wrote this law, did they ever? We'd have this shit going on.
So, but yeah, and then which don't tell anybody. But I was driving for a little while after they suspended my license because the tags on my car were still good.
Yeah.
But those ran out in September. So I've been on foot since the end of September.
I don't know what to tell you, man. God dang it. I wish I could. I wish I could open some doors for you, but like seriously, if you've got a septic company that's like a block or a mile away from you, a foot walk might actually yield a job, and it might not pay much. I don't know, like where we're at between 12 and 17 is what we pay our helpers, but like that gets people on their feet.
Yeah,
Well,
the part of it too, though, is with what's going on. I'm sitting here, just like waiting to see what happens. Because it's like, if the if the shit hits the fan, like I said, I may be one of those people taking up arms. You know what I'm saying? But,
yeah, I think a lot of us are going to be that way. I mean, the good thing is that after all this is over, there will be less bad drivers.
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, traffic won't be so bad getting into the afternoon 5 p.m. drive hours.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
I'm going to touch base with you here later on this week, man, and see how things are going. Hopefully that you've got at least a prayer going on, And for those of you that are in chat, Hetty and others, I really appreciate you being here. You don't have to be, but it was nice that you showed up. If you like what I have, go ahead, like, share, and subscribe. I'm not for everybody, and I probably will not be long for YouTube, but if I am, if I can get to 300 subscribers, that's what Odyssey needs for me to have them clone my entire library of videos over, so I can at least have a steady amount of people on Odyssey to give for. And I'm going to start putting videos up on there.
Yeah, I don't even all kinds of people are like, yeah, back up, put your stuff here and put it there and here and there and stuff. And I don't know. I just haven't, when I've had access to the internet, I just haven't taken the time or effort to do that. But, because I don't know if it's a certain subscriber count for for that place. You know, I mean, I think I'm at like 364. So, but which is funny because I mean, I hardly, you know, I've sporadically put out content, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't know how or why I have as many people as I do, but
when you show up for a panel, you're pretty much kind of like a Joe Everyman. Like everybody that I know can identify with you pretty well. You have really good sensibilities. Your morality is right there. I mean, you probably at one point have done something that wasn't pretty, but at many other points, you know, you've been like everybody else. And most of us want to think in our heads, if we have to do something, we'll do it. And you're there, you're kind of on that edge where you're going to have to be, you know, possibly figuring out how you're going to make the internet, how are you going to make, you know, things work.
Bruce, you have no idea. My life is like a fucked up country song, dude.
I get it.
All right.
I wish you lived here in San Antonio because I know I could get you on as a helper. I'm just saying, you know, don't uproot and like leave. Don't leave your family for this. But if I have the opportunity, I'm gonna do a search for people in Tacoma and see if I can get you paired up with a group.
Like I said, which, you know, the oldest one, you know, this is his senior year, right? I mean, which, I mean, depending on what happens the next, you know, 6 months or whatever, but I mean, he's, you know, this is his last year of high school, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, he's almost to the point of being on his own. And the other one is, he's 10. But, you know, like I said, he's down in Oregon with his mother. But, I mean, if it weren't for them two, like I said, I'd either be down there in Texas or I'd be in Florida. You know, I mean, that's because, you know, this where I'm at, you know, it's nice scenery, you know, it's a beautiful place to look at, but, you know, there's nothing really here for me. So
yeah.
And I was, even though I'm from Missouri, I consider myself a Southerner because, you know, it's the part of Missouri I grew up in, which, you know, southeast, you know, just like top of the boot heel, you know, and, you know, having being raised up around grandparents that, you know, one came from Arkansas and the other one came from Louisiana, and who, you know, gave birth to my dad. So yeah, I mean, I'm a Southern dude, you know, and before I end up pushing up daisies, I'm gonna end up back in that part of the country. So
there's a company real close to you. Well, not real close to you, but they're in the Tacoma proper, called Alpha Bravo Septic.
Yeah. Well, there's probably somebody a bit closer to me than that. I mean, Tacoma's like 26 miles away from me.
Yikes.
So, yeah. But
I know they're looking for, like what I was talking about, a helper, but that's a bit far for you.
Yeah. No, I mean, not to not to dox myself too much, but I'm in Kitsap County.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I need you to get somewhere within 4 miles or less.
Yeah.
So.
But
I will. I'll look into this and see if I can find somebody for you here in that county area, and I'll try to touch base with you over Discord here later this week. Okay.
which, and I don't really, if I don't really care, or else I wouldn't have said it,
Yeah.
on air. But I know a lot of people are like, oh, I can't get too specific. Jesus, can't get too specific on where I'm at, But I don't know. I'm one of those people that I'm not too worried about it. I mean, if somebody wants to start shit with me because they heard of where I'm at on the freaking internet, come on, I'll give you all you want and more. So
I don't need you to have that situation pop up. I need you out of jail. I need you out of jail to be able to do stuff. I mean, granted, jail's good if you're hungry and cold and you need food and you're homeless.
Yeah.
Bad,
yeah.
but
three hots in a cot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shellback, TJC, man, I will talk to you later.
Yes, sir.
And those of you in the chat, I thank you so much for showing up tonight. And I'm going to cut her off here. I thank you, everybody.